Hey folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, folks, into the action we go today on this Tuesday, March 4th, 2014. Markets having a big rally across the board. S&P is up 26 points. That's a new all-time high on the S&P. Dow is trading up 228 points, and the NASDAQ is up 73 points on the day. Now, what's going on here? And by the way, markets are dumping out just a little bit here, which is kind of interesting just to see here and kind of follow. But bottom line is, the whole issue in the Ukraine with Russia definitely quieted down overnight, and all of a sudden relief is coming to it. And basically, Putin kind of said, oh, we were just doing military exercises, and, it's not really anything major. We're not going to use troops and warfare or anything like that. And all of a sudden, overnight, as soon as that was said, the futures took off like a catapult to the upside. Now, whether or not it escalates again at some point, who knows? But right now it is de-escalating, although with this little downdraft right here, you just never know. Definitely something going on here just as we're speaking. And let's see if it extends itself through the course of this video. By the way, yesterday I sold my VXX, which turned out to be a genius decision. And again, on the VXX, we were long from around, I think, the 43-ish area. We sold around 46 or so, somewhere in that vicinity. So we made some good money. And if we hadn't sold, we'd be back to break even today. So really a good decision to get out of that. And one of the things I've learned about the VXX when you're trading it is that you have to take the gains when you get it. Once you get a couple dollars, you have to at least sell a portion of that. Yesterday I sold all of it because the market, especially when you're playing volatility, any sort of good news is going to catapult the markets up and reverse the VXX, which is obviously a fear ETF. It tracks the volatility index, the VIX. So sure enough, that was a good decision. We put some money in our pockets, and now we're just waiting patiently for it to come to the right level. And sure enough, you can see the VXX coming down here. Yesterday we sold it in the upper ranges right over here around the open. Going back to the SPY, the market really cut through the highs like from Friday right here. I mean, you see the highs right here from Friday. We really cut through them like butter. And why? I mean, why is the market rebounding so fast today? And obviously, except for this little bit of a dip right here, which we'll see if it turns out to be anything significant. But I think you have to realize that there's another short squeeze at work here, so you have short squeeze coming through, and that's part of it. A lot of people picked up shorts probably yesterday on the drop, and they're getting squeezed out today. You also have the buy the dip mentality. I mean, as of last Friday, the market's closed at an all-time high in the S&P 500. So, yeah, Monday was a kind of a horrible day. We had a big down day yesterday, but right back to same old today. And all those people that were waiting yesterday to not put money in, or they were waiting to put money in but didn't yesterday, they're all pushing money in. So that, with a little bit of a short squeeze, is pushing these markets up very nicely. Now, again, we are seeing a little bit of a minor pullback, but right now this is nothing to write home about unless we were to get a much bigger pullback on the SPY, on the S&P 500. All right? So again, that's what we're looking at here. Do I think this rally has legs? Well, right now, I mean, unless we see some sort of reversal that sticks. I mean, yesterday was a nice reversal, right? So yesterday had a nice down day, but you didn't get any follow through today. And one of the key signals of a short-term or mid-term top, maybe even a long-term top, is follow through. All right, and again, if you have a down day that's significant like yesterday, you must see a following down day the next day. And needless to say, we're not getting that. So, I got to give, the benefit of the doubt to the market right here. The fact that as long as we stay at these highs or around the highs without consecutive large down days, then the market could continue to grind up just a little bit. Now, do I think there's a lot of upside? No, I don't think there's a lot of upside in this market. I think I mentioned to you guys last week and even possibly yesterday that even above the recent highs, there's only a 1 to 3% max move. All right, that's the max move that you could see. So it's really not that much upside, but it's, a grinding market. A couple, 0.25% a day, 0.5% a day type moves could be in the cards, absolutely. Now, market's continuing to sell here, so I want to keep my eyes on what's going on in this vicinity. I do want to see if there's any sort of breaking news hitting the wires. Don't see anything yet, but there's definitely something going on as we saw an uptick in volume. Look at the uptick in volume right here too. So, after dead volume all midday session, we're seeing a little bit of an uptick. But again, unless we were seeing a heavier sell, I don't think it's anything too significant. If something really went wrong in the Ukraine, with Russia, you'd be seeing a major sell-off right now. You wouldn't just be seeing a little bit of a downtick where we're still up 1.25% on the S&P 500 or so. All right. Let's see what else we have out there. Facebook, I think it's interesting to take note of a couple of these stocks. Now, Facebook's having a decent push up today. The stock currently is trading, as we wait for the data to come up, $1.15. But one thing I think, and this is a good indicator too, that does lead me to be a little cautious, is look at Facebook. Facebook's not even close to the highs anymore. In fact, Facebook's failing a bullish pattern here, which had the 200 right above it to catapult it to the downside. And sure enough, we are seeing Facebook start to dip just a little bit here. But there's a lot of stocks out there that are not at their highs. So while the S&P is at the highs, if you take a look at other leading stocks, if we go to the daily chart here, let's go to the daily chart on Chevron. This is a good example. Look at Chevron. You know, Chevron's not even close to these highs that it was in, 2013 or even early 2014. And Exxon's the same way, and we've seen some really weak structure out of Exxon. Exxon's had a great bounce over the last couple of weeks since the market went vertical, but it hasn't gotten back to those highs yet. I mean, we look at GE. GE's having a great day today, but look at this chart. This is the daily chart on GE. Good bounce today, up about 1.8%. But what's going on here? Why aren't we at this pivot high right here? All right, so these little things, again, you still have to give the benefit of the doubt to the market. I mean, I think that's number one, that until the market proves otherwise, as long as it stays at or continues making new highs, it's going to have the benefit of the doubt. But there are things that kind of irk me a little bit about this market, such as these type of, why aren't the leading stocks that were leading at these highs anymore? In fact, they're not even close. I mean, you look at this GE chart, which was a major leader going into the early portion of 2014, and it's not even close. Let's go back to the spiders, guys. We got to track this move. Spiders, well, they're still right up there, so it's not too much extra downside here. Let me go back to the intraday chart and flip back to that 10-minute. And there we go. So you got again, a little bit of a dip, but nothing to write home about yet. So again, if we see some more downside quicker, then you would think something bigger is going on. But right now, that's not happening, obviously. So it's nothing really to pay too much attention to in the short term. All right. Day trading today has been all right. There's been some nice small cap movers today, as well as a couple scalps on the large cap side. We scalped IWM. By the way, IWM is the Russell, and that's having a phenomenal day. Take a look at that. It has rolled over a little bit, but the IWM, which is the Russell, up 2.75%, folks. That is a huge move. You don't see that every day, that's for sure. That is absolutely for sure. All right, taking a look at some other stocks out there, let's look at Apple, AAPL. Apple is up $2 on the day. That's actually a weak showing for Apple, but Apple actually was a little stronger yesterday. It closed flat to positive yesterday, so oftentimes what you'll see is a stock in a weak market that's stronger. Then when the market gets strong, money doesn't go in there as much because it was already doing well, and it'll find other areas that have to bounce or are due to bounce. And one thing I think I touched on Apple yesterday to our members, and I think this is a very important point to make, is that Apple to me strikes me as being more of a safe haven play now. All right, Apple's good old Apple. All right, it's not going to blow it out with great, huge earnings growth anymore because it's too big. It's not going to all of a sudden be the next cure for cancer type play. That's just not in the cards anymore with Apple. But what it is a good U.S. company that's going to continue to spit out solid numbers. So when things get hairy around the globe, people are going to turn towards Apple. And in my opinion, I think this is one of the greatest things of this video today to point out, is that I believe Apple has now switched into that kind of stock. All right, and again, think about it logically. Think about the price action yesterday. Market's getting hammered, and Apple actually ended up closing flat to positive on the day. Okay? So that was a great showing considering the big drop. All right, now today, Apple is almost negative or just up $1 and change, and the markets are having a huge day. So these type of things you should be paying attention to. There's no doubt about it. And I think it's the safe haven play. So next time you see the markets getting crushed, take a look at Apple. See if Apple is performing under the market, at the market, or better than the market. And my guess would be is it's most likely doing better than the market. Okay? So a little tidbit there. Amazon today, let's take a look at Amazon. A lot of these charts, interesting. I'm looking at a lot of intradays right now, including Apple and now Amazon, and they're not very good charts. I mean, the fact that this consolidated underneath the 20 right here and is now inching down, that's actually not a very good chart. Apple's didn't look good at all. Let's take a look at JP Morgan. Now, JP Morgan looks okay. It just kissed the 20 MA, so that's if this was under the 20 MA, that would be bearish, but it's staying above, so it's staying above all three moving averages. That's not half bad. Let me take a look at Goldman. Goldman, a little bit of a dip bouncing back. That stock looks like financials are catching a bid today. In fact, financials were the 1 week index. And by the way, if you look at the daily financial charts, that's another group that has just been lagging the market. I mean, look at this Goldman daily chart. All right, here we have the S&P back to all-time highs. Basically, the Nasdaq's at 52-week multi-year highs, and the Dow is is basically at all-time highs too. And look at the performance of Goldman. I mean, that is not a good performance. I mean, the stock, yes, it's up today about 2%, which is a great move. But why isn't that closer to those highs? What's going on with that? Now, obviously, we could make cases that, some warnings by JPM on earnings, but it's not translating into other stocks, so why is it just translating to JPM and Goldman and these financials, along with stocks like GE and Chevron and Exxon and other ones like that? Baidu, let's take a look at BIDU, Chinese player here. And if we flip over to that, if I type in the chart correctly, there we go. Stock's really not that strong today, up about 1.3%, which usually it leads the market, and that's actually showing some signs of weakness as well. Sina is another Chinese one. Wow, Sina down 30 cents today. There's nothing to do here on the daily chart. I'm just kind of going through to see what's strong and what's weak, and we continue to see a lot of the leading stocks, the former leading, I should say, on the weaker side. Visa's up about $3.50 here today, which isn't a bad move. That's about in line. It's a little weaker than the overall market, but had a nice fall yesterday and now bouncing back. Hasn't reversed. See, this is interesting too. Here's Visa's pivot top right here, right? So that's Visa's pivot top, but even just look at the markets today. So the markets are literally trading above on the S&P. If I brought the S&P back up, the S&P is at all-time highs today. But Visa's not even reversing yesterday's down move. And you can see that by just looking at the daily chart there. So little things like that, just important to pay attention to, in my opinion. And we'll just keep watching and again, monitoring it. On an afternoon trade play, and I actually might have to get into this pretty soon the way it's looking here. Whoa, wait a minute. We might have to be getting in here. Hang on one second, folks. Sorry to kind of stall out here, but this ICLD is, I have a key break point I'm watching on ICLD at 1475. If it takes that out, it should make a run over $15. I'll bring up the chart here, and I just got alerted that it's starting to pop up, and hang on one second, let's see here. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Let me flip to the intraday. It's hard to do this while I'm trading, doing the video, but alright, so basically you have consolidation here, and I have a key break point right here at 1475, where if it does, it should take out the highs of the day and get above the even number of 15, and it just started to perk up a little bit. So I do want to monitor this very much so. Alright, I just picked it up, guys, at 1475, so it just hit that level. I just grabbed a little. If it can get through 1480, it's going to go, so we'll see. But in any case, I don't want to distract you guys too much from the overall markets. But there we go, 1479, 1480. If it gets through 1482, there's 10,000 here at 1480, and 1482, another 8,000 or so. If it can clear those, then it should have a nice run here. So keep an eye on it, and we'll watch and see. But I'm not going to keep dragging this video out. You guys can check on it later. But again, right now I'm up about 5 cents or so. But the key break point is going to be that 1480 and then 82 level. Gets through that, it's going to blow through 15, and I'll take, I'll try to take 500 to 1,000 bucks on it pretty easily there on any sort of move. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. But again, come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Let's profit with the pros. And again, we got the methodology, and we can give you guys good trade alerts in the Research Center. 7-day free trial. Come check us out. Take